Like these mouth shapes are changing, but like blending. It's not like ba, boo, boo, bee. It's boo, ah, woo, woo. You know, it's that, you know.
Bee, boo, boo, bop, boo, boo, beep.
No, man, you're thinking of beep, boo, boo, bop, boo, boo, bop.
All right, welcome back, people. Follow-up video for my tune, the Unswung Hero. We're gonna chat about how I came up with like the main acid, like bass riff. We're gonna talk about all the automation and processing and nitty-gritty stuff that, you know, made it from a default preset into the sound you know and love, or have an opinion on. Maybe it's not love, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, straight into it. So this is more or less it. This acid line. Remember, this is the stem I had to bounce it into because, as you can see, there is a load of automation going on. Why? It's basically to make the sound constantly change, constantly vary, feel like it's alive and moving, maybe even talking to you. I'll play you the stem and then I'll show you how it came together. Yeah, so as you hear, each little bit of that riff, the da-da-da-da, is slightly different. First we get into that, let me just show you the actual patch. And if any silent users know, this is the default, like, first, like, oh, it's the third preset, my bad. It's not the init one. It's the ARP 303 drive. That's it. And like, through loads of automation, it becomes what it is. So just and processing, by the way. So bass sound, no processing, sounds like dry, kind of dead, sterile sound. There's a little bit of automation, like this cutoff filter down here is moving slightly every now and then. The envelope sustain, and the release is moving. You know? So velocity is changing the cutoff of the filter, and it's also changing the resonance of the filter. So if we go into the MIDI, all these little velocity changes, some of them are the same. Some of them are slightly different, like a bit higher, a bit lower. If we come here, like that note, more, a lot, backs off. But if you go here, then it's less, like closed filter, less resonance. So the higher the velocity, the more open the filter is, and the more resonance is there. And the lower velocity, the more closed the filter is, and the less resonance is there. So if you vary that note by note, you get different feelings. It sounds like it's like in this one, it's like it's opening. Whoa, 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 whoa. You know what I mean? Like it's talking to you. Like it's mouth shapes, more or less. Boo, wow, woo. You know, open and close a little bit. And I'm also sliding them together. So there's a bit of portamento, a bit of overlap. So not only are the notes sliding and you're getting these pitch changes, you're getting these filter changes, like basically like these mouth shapes are changing, but like blending. It's not like ba, boo, boo, bee. It's boo, ah, woo, woo. You know, it's that, you know.
Bee, boo, boo, bop, boo, boo, beep.
Whatever. So that's what gives it that kind of fluid feeling. And not every note slides, you know, some hit to accent certain things. So like if you look at this one, all of these are slid together and then this one is accented. So what does that sound like? It hits do-do-do-bum, and some are different. Like this one, same thing. First note slides the next two, then accents the third or fourth. There's a lot of that going on. Like this one accents the first, accents the second. Or no, it doesn't. It slides. I'll change it to make it do that. Da 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 da. It's that. Like it sounds goofy, but like it all contributes to how it feels. So if I put the slide back in, now it's da da. You know what I mean? If I take all the slides out, then you get that da 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 da. You know what I mean? But slides in, I'm altering all these different things. So it sounds different every time. Velocity is changing the filter and the resonance, which contributes to the idea of the mouth shape. Sliding or not sliding certain notes is kind of accenting syllables in a way. It's just making it feel alive. That's all. So you get, you know, slides. Bit more. So that's where the changes, that's where the variation's coming in. Most of it's different. Like you can see where it's kind of like leveled off. That's where I'm not doing many velocity changes, but something else is probably going on. I'm doing a lot here in this section because that's where I really want to kind of speak in a way. So it's changing. Changing. No pitch bend, no nothing else. So that's where you get that. And at the same time, there's just like, I'm also automating the filter that's being messed with by the velocity. So there's a little bit of overlap going on, but I'm kind of forcing it to open a bit more. But within the way it's opening, it's still like opening and closing within the range that the automation line is kind of setting. It seems complex, but maybe it doesn't. But it's small variations. See, there's not like any huge jumps. There's just slightly up, slightly down, slightly opening, closing. Length of notes are changing at certain parts for the sake of having a feel. So short, no release, little bit of release. Now, as we start processing it, all these little changes are going to be emphasized and made into much more because of the plugins that it's going through. So if I just kind of loop a section and I'll start adding plugins. So first we have like my favorite noise adding plugin. That's raw sound. Let's add this. Just a little bit of noise. Let's add some compression, saturation, some dirt. Really adding a lot of body to it, really evening it out. I'm not going to open the next plugin because sometimes it crashes, but it's Sound Toys Little Radiator. Adds a bit of saturation, bit of preamp, color. Now we have some EQ to roll off that low end. As I'm compressing it and affecting it, it's really adding in some subbiness that I don't need in this sound because it's being layered on top of the true sub. Now it sounds thin, but the acid like character comes out. So with and no EQ. With EQ. Utility, because I'm doing some volume stuff. Just, volume up and down, fade ins, fade outs. That should be at the end, but for some reason it's not. Anyway, we go EQ for character, just little shelf at 2.5K. Now here's where automation stuff comes in. This is what's adding the reverb. Yeah. A little bit. Back down. It's like he never really gets happy. Entertaining plugin. A lot? Nah. Let's go. Next plugin is a bit crusher. This really makes his tops go away more or less. It's easier than EQ for me. So without it, there's a lot of like this like sizzliness, and this is basically getting rid of that. That's all. I like it more than EQ. Speaking of EQ, here's another one that's just doing like some low passing or high passing in the low end. And on the sides, that's it. That's all this plugin's doing. Just cleans it up a little bit. Now K-clip is clipping. Most to really just tame the peaks of the sound because of all because of all like the resonance changes and everything, there's a lot of peaks and things that are happening that are just like so digital and so artifacty that you have to tame them through clipping. So let me think of a section like towards the end, like that, just like that pitch. You know what I mean? Is like without the clipper, it's a huge peak out of nowhere. Like if we look, one of those last notes really like hits it, you know? And you can kind of hear the transientness of the sound. And I wanted that. I wanted that like kind of pluckiness, that spikiness to come through. And I'm using clipping to tame it. That's all. And then you have your filter, which is your normal stuff. Yeah, low pass, high pass, that kind of thing. And then lastly, we have, this is like automating the sound from mono to stereo. So here it's like really thin and narrow. And then here it's open. So from here, make it seem like it's far away. There's loads of reverb. It's in the distance and it's getting closer. Like you're staring down the hallway and the thing's getting more near you. It's, any horror game. And here it is. In your face. That's all. Last but not least, I'm not going to flip it on, but I threw this all through analog heat to give it an even more crusty character. A lot of saturation. If I flip the thing on, it might just it will eliminate all the video and everything. So, but it's the final touches. That's it. Do you need this to get the sound? No, but because I was going for a really analog synthy type sound and I wanted that kind of grit, that kind of character that comes from that, this thing came in handy. I use it all the time for sounds like this and like for my full mix and everything. But yeah, what you get from that once you run it through is you get this very gritty yet rounded kind of sound. I'll play from here. It like breaks, but in a pleasing way. Yeah, if we were talking about peaks, because of this little automation thing where like the resonance goes nuts, that was just like bajillion decibels of like one momentary second. Like one momentary second. Come on. All these words. Anyway, again, like it's all subtle, pretty subtle process and you think about it. It's just a little bit of distortion, saturation in stages to get a clean but gross, kind of dirty kind of sound. And every little bit of modulation within the synth itself contributes to how the rest of the plugins stacked on top of it react. Plus automation with reverb, with the envelope, with filters, with soundstage, all these things, they contribute to a sound that sounds alive. And that's the whole point of this, dude, is to make it constantly progress, constantly change in subtle ways so it feels alive. And that's kind of what's going on here. It's changing it. Because if it was the exact same riff, the exact same sound, it would be over in a bar. Like you'd be bored within the first bar or four. You know what I mean? But because it's slightly changing and all the other parts that we talked about in the overview are also supporting that idea, it sounds interesting. And that's all you got to do to make things sound interesting is just add a little bit of modulation, a little bit of a human touch, and you're good. You know what I mean? That being said, this is a process that does my head in, but it's worth it in the end. So yeah, there's other ways you can do it. You don't have it, like you don't have to stack as many plugins. Some synth, you can just, you make macros and do these kind of things. And to be honest, I could have too. But in this case, I like the granular control I got over just kind of automating each little thing just to do something different. And I feel like in the end, the sound I got makes it all worth it. So if this sounds like something you think you should do or you didn't know you should do, and I don't want to say should do as in like you should, but like maybe you've just never considered it, give it a try. Like simple ideas can be made to sound and feel rich if you treat them with a bit of care. Anyway, that's it. I appreciate you for watching. I hope you got some value out of this. You've seen this on YouTube, subscribe. You saw this on Patreon. I appreciate you. Any further questions about this specific thing or the tune as a whole or any other thing on the EP, let me know. If you haven't heard it, but somehow you've watched this video, go click one of those links and listen to the full song and the rest of them. And, just follow me on everything and be my best friend. Okay? That's it. Later.